sales, do you ever hear this comment from your client? Your price is too high. And what do you say? Hello, my name is Greg Story. I'm the president of Dale Carnegie Training here in Japan, and we're coming from the High Performance Center here in Akasaka, talking about the objection from the client, your price is too high. Interesting enough, most salespeople approach the answer to this in the completely wrong way. They go straight into justifying the price, trying to have an arm wrestle with the client on the price. They are talking about the detail of what they're going to do. Not the right way to go. You don't know if that's actually the objection. What if it's not price? And how do you ascertain exactly what is the problem? Well, think about it. We do this in normal retail shopping ourselves, don't we? If I'm out shopping and I see a beautiful tie and I think, oh, that looks nice, and then I look at the price, I go, ooh, mine a heart attack, right, because it's a pretty big number. And the clerk says, yes, sir, would you like to try it on? Would you like to have a look at it? I say, no, I'm not sure about that pattern. Actually, there's nothing wrong with the pattern. Pattern looks great. Actually, tie looks wonderful. But I don't have the money. I don't want to spend that amount of money on that particular tie. So I don't actually fess up to the clerk and tell them the real reason. I just say, oh, it's the pattern. The real reason is I don't have the money. And I don't want to express that to someone I don't know, so I keep it to myself. Well, the same with clients. They may have a real reason, but they may be hesitant to tell you the real reason, particularly if it's the first time to really have a business conversation with a client. So how do we approach this your price is too high problem? Very, very simply. First thing we should do is not answer that question. Don't go into justifying the price. Ask this straight away. Well, thank you for saying that. May I ask why you say that? What you're looking for here is the article attached to the headline. The headline in the newspaper was, your price is too high. The article in the newspaper goes through all the details of why the client feels that way. But you don't know how to answer that objection from the client, unless you read the article. So we've got to get the article out there. So I asked them to tell you why. I'll give you an example recently. I'm with a client and we're talking about training and we're talking about this particular program. They love the program. The program's great. And then we look at the investment and the customer says, oh, your price is too high. So I don't get into arguing, no, it's not, our price is fantastic. Look at the value we're giving you. This is competitive in the market. There's no way this price can be thought to be too high. Blah, 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 blah. Don't do any of that. I just said, well, thank you for saying that. Would you mind telling me why you think that? And then the client went into this explanation, which is very interesting. They have a quarterly allocation for training in the P&L of their company. Okay, and my price went beyond that quarterly limit. So listening to this, I'm thinking to myself, well, that's interesting, okay. So I said, well, I get that. If we're able to bridge it across more than one quarter, say across 2 quarters, would that help you out? Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Was it price? Actually, no, it was timing. But I would have never known that if I'd gotten into a big argument with the client by force of will or strength of my personality or my articulation of the value. I'd be answering the wrong thing. Now, here's another thing with clients too. The first thing they tell you may not necessarily be the key thing either. Sometimes clients don't want to put everything out, all their cards on the table straight away. They might actually have some other concerns, which might be more important. We talk about icebergs, the top of the iceberg, the bit above the waterline, is very insignificant compared to the size of the ice block under the waterline. And that top of the iceberg is often the objection they give. The real reason is hidden. So if you start arguing with the client, trying to show value, you may not be addressing what's under the waterline, where the real issue lies. So after you've asked them, well, why do you say that? And they tell you, don't stop. There may be a deeper reason there. So, well, okay, see, I understand that. So tell me, in addition to that, is there anything else that's concerning you? And find out if there are other concerns. These might be actually deeper concerns, or they may not be. But you need to get them out to understand, okay, what are we talking about here, and go into this a couple of times, not too many times, a couple of times, to get an idea of what are some concerns for the client. And then you ask, all right, of these 3 things you've told me, or 4 things you've told me, which one is the most concerning? And they tell you that. This is when you go into explaining the value of your solution and you go into answering the client's objection, right? And then you're sure to have all the value, all the justification, all the comparisons, all the testimonials, all the track record to explain why this investment with you makes a lot of sense and how it's going to make the client a lot of money in the future, or save them a lot of money in the future. But we don't actually know how to answer that question until we know what the real problem is. Get that out on the table first, then answer it. And after you've answered it, just check. Is there anything else that's still of concern to you? Because there still may be something under that waterline in that iceberg you need to know about. And if there's not, well, then you ask. Then it sounds like to me we can go ahead. Would that be correct? Check, and then see if there's anything else out there. So this is all simple knowledge. Now, you would think this is not complex stuff. This is not like Greg Story invented this, It's like, oh, wow, Greg woke up one morning and said, bingo, I've got the answer to objections. We'll ask why before we answer the question. This information has been around forever. And all professional, all well-trained salespeople know this. And that's why they're able to create really good partnerships with their clients through trying to really understand the client's needs and trying to be the best service they can to build the client's business. Okay, that's our objective. Build the client's business. And in doing that, we will benefit in our business. So we've got to get that priority thing correct also. But this is knowledge, and where do you get knowledge? Well, the sad thing is, in Japan, most of the training that's offered is on-the-job training. But it's not really training anymore. It's really watered-down version of what used to be a very good system in Japan. Not anymore. Now it's a couple of visits to clients with the boss, you're on your own. No real training, no real coaching, no real help. This is an issue for salespeople. You're struggling out there. Where could you go and get some really good knowledge that will help you? We've got it. Isn't this good? And it's free. How about that? Go to iTunes and put in the search bar, the Sales Japan series. And up will come a podcast with 118 episodes where we've gone into every facet, every detail of sales, trying to help salespeople to do a more professional job and be of greater service to their clients. And I think that's what we should all be aiming to do, be of greater service to the clients. If you're worried about what's going in your pocket and not how making your client's pocket bigger, you're in the wrong business. Get out of sales because you're corrupting it for the rest of us who want to be professionals and serve our clients. So those podcasts, those 118 podcasts, are there on iTunes. The Sales Japan series, check that out. And if you haven't bought my book, Japan Sales Mastery, well, you're out of your mind because that is the Bible on selling in Japan. If you're selling to Japanese buyers, the last book on that subject was published in 1988 by Roger Marsh. And this book of mine, 30 years later, is the only book on the subject, and it is the best book. It's a how-to book. Very much a very specific how-to book. Grab hold of that book, read that book, then you'll be in a much better position to deal with Japanese buyers, I can tell you that. And you might think, well, you're right. I did go for 2 calls with my boss. It wasn't particularly helpful, and he's too busy to coach me, and I'm getting pounded all the time about my numbers. I don't know what to do. Well, Dale Carnegie, we've been teaching sales training since 1939. In 1939, Dale Carnegie pioneered the first public courses for salespeople. Up until that time, you had to get training within your company or you got nothing. That was a choice. Company training or zero. He said, okay, let's make it available to everybody. Let's have public training in sales. And he, with Percy Whiting, one of the top salespeople of the day, launched this sales training program. And it's been refined, of course, over that period of time, major refinements over that period of time. But it's still the most comprehensive, the most current, the best consultative sales training method out there. So this is something you can avail yourself of. Where do you find information about that? Go to our website. ENJapan, that's one word, enjapan.dalecarnegie, that's one word, .com. So enjapan.dalecarnegie.com. have a look in there for some sales training. We've got a number of things, actually. We've got a 1-day program, a 2-day program. We've got the 3-day program. We've got sales presentation skills training as well, because as a salesperson, you've got to present. Often you've got a room full of people you're talking to, or a bigger buying group, and you've got to make a presentation. Are you any good at presentations? Most salespeople are pretty hopeless, I've got to tell you. Don't be part of that group. Be part of the professional group and know how to present properly. So there's some information for you if you'd like to look at the book, read that. If you prefer to listen to podcasts. If you prefer to look at videos, then you can go to our YouTube channel, Japan Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. 767 videos there now, I think nearly 770. And have a look at the training videos there on selling. That's also very helpful. And also go to our website, enjapan.dalecarnegie.com. So there's lots of things out there to help you. A lot of them are free. And if you're in sales and you aren't developing yourself, well, what are you doing? Are you making your numbers? Are you doing it smoothly? Are you doing it in a manner which you feel good about? Have you got your boss hammering you instead? Are you feeling lots of pressure every day? Don't be like that. Start developing yourself. Read my book, listen to my podcast, watch the videos, and go to the website and look at what we've got there for training for you. And if you do that, you will join the top group of salespeople, because the vast majority of salespeople are just suffering because they've never been invested in, they've never been trained properly, and it's hard when you don't know what you're doing. So my job is to help you, and I hope I've been a little bit successful in that today. Please have a look at what we've got, see if it can help you, and put it to use. If you do that, you will be enjoying your job a lot more, and your clients will be so much more satisfied because they really feel you're a great partner for them. And that's our objective. Be a great partner for our clients and help build their business. Okay, let's see if that works for you. Good luck.